Hello Flosstube, it is the 1st of August 2022. My name is Annemiek and I'm Annemiek from the Handwerk Boetiek. This is my channel where I share my love of cross stitch with you, some shop updates and some live updates. And I'm very happy to see you back here again. Welcome to new subscribers. I saw that I had quite a few new subscribers, and welcome back if you've been here before. It's been a while since I recorded my last video, but life got very busy, and every now and then it's like I either didn't have the time to do a floss tube, I didn't have the energy to do the floss tube, or I would prefer to stitch for an hour and not record the whole video, get everything put together, and then put everything away. But this time all the stars aligned and I'm here with a new update. I have one fully finished object. I have 5 finishes. I'm very pleased with that. I have an update on 3 of my WIPs. I have a very exciting new project that's coming on that'll start in a little less than 2 weeks. And I'll tell you more about that later on. And I wanted to update you on a very special designer day that we're having on the 27th of August here in Roden. So to start off, my fully finished object. This was a finish in June. This is Louise Koenig from Stacy Nash Primitive Designs. I stitched her on 40 count Café au lait Newcastle linen by Zweigart with pomegranate silk by Gloriana. It was a very enjoyable stitch. I really enjoyed working on her. This time I did it a little bit different. I don't know if you remember, but I started at the top, and then every time I would stitch on her again, I would just go down. So do a couple of rows underneath each other, and then I think by the time I got here, I finished this row and then filled in all the motifs and then did her name and the last alphabet and the final border. And I'm very pleased with how it turned out. Like I said, Stacy Nash finished it as a scissor pouch, which in my opinion, you couldn't really see the full design very well since, how it got folded to the back. So I'm very pleased to have this one framed, and now that I've shown it on my Flosstube video, I can put it up in the shop along with Hannah Jenkinson, the one that I stitched last year, and we have Rose Cottage Sampler from Stacy Nash as well on the same wall. So this will be a nice addition to that wall. So that was my fully finished object. Now, onto my finished objects. I think one of the advantages when you do not record floss tubes very often is that you have a bit more time to finish stuff. And I think if I average about an hour of stitching on weekdays, that's about it for me. During the weekends, I can usually do a little bit more, but especially during the week, it's like an hour, and there's even a couple days that I don't stitch. So it's hard to make progress when you don't stitch, of course. So I'm very pleased with these finishes. This was my finish in July. This is Halloween on the Farm by Kathy Barrick. It's been a favorite of mine for a long time, and this year I finally decided to go ahead and start it. It is stitched again on 40 count Newcastle linen by Zweigart color Café au lait. I stitched it with the DMC colors, with the exception of it calls for 921 DMC and I picked 920, and I changed out the DMC 400 for DMC 3826, and otherwise it's as called for. It's a very pretty, it's not a very Halloween-y design. I think it's fall friendly, and I just love the fact that there is a cat on top of that pumpkin. I gave the cat whiskers because I thought that he really should have whiskers. And I changed the letters. Kathy had her initials KAB on the sampler, so I changed mine to AJK. This one is going to be framed as well with the same walnut frame that you saw on Louise Koenig. Lately, I've really enjoyed using that kind of frame for my stitches. And I think one of the advantages is if you use a similar kind of frame is that, you know, if you just group it together, it always goes together very well. So that was finish number 1. Finish number 2 is the Yearly Santa by the Prairie Schooler. I stitched this design in July. It's like a tradition. A couple of years ago, the designer would put out her Yearly Santa sometimes end of June, beginning of July, and it would just be my July stitch, you know, like a Christmas in July stitching. And this year it got out really early. I think it was March or April. And I decided to wait and just, you know, stitch it in July for my Christmas in July stitching. I made a change on this. The penguins are supposed to be in the charcoal gray color of his boots. But for me, penguins are black. And somebody on Facebook showed her finish and she used the black on the penguins and then she used the charcoal gray on the little penguin over here. I thought that was such an excellent idea, so I copied her and I changed it. And the other thing I changed is that I didn't use the metallic thread for the green, but I used DMC 907 instead. I've been stitching these Santas this is the 7th year in a row that I've been stitching them, and I've never used a metallic. So, you know, we all have our quirks, so to say, and I didn't want to use a metallic on this one either. So I changed it to the 907, and I think it looks pretty nice this way. And this one will be finished on a wooden, kind of like a cutting board. We bought these a while ago, I think like maybe a year ago at the Action, one of our local, well, what would you call it? Like you could compare it to like a dollar shop, maybe, Dollar Tree. It's not very expensive, but you have to look. If I wanted to do 3 of the same kind of finishes, I've done that for the last 6 years, so I have 3 Santas that were finished as a pillow. Then I had 3 Santas that were finished as a flat fold. And now this one and the next 2 are going to be finished on the cutting board. And if you go to the Action and you want to find, you know, like multiples of the same item, it's good to check, especially with the wood, because the wood would, you know, it would have a different color. It would look just, I don't know, not the same. So I got 2 at my local Action, and Kobe got me the 3rd one at her local Action. So for the next 2 years, we're good. We don't have to come up with a new way of finishing them. And this one will be over at Kobe's in a little while, and she can work her magic on it. And I'll look forward to have it finished on the cutting board. Then my next finish. I'm a big fan of the In the Round series by JBW Designs. I've stitched quite a few of her French country series, but her In the Round series I think are so much fun. It is quite amazing how she puts together a design that has like all these little motifs, and it's still a full circle. I know, you know, I've done my part of designing, and getting anything that is a perfect circle and then work your way with different motifs and still keep that shape is pretty hard to do. And she does a fabulous job. So here's my Summer in the Round. This was stitched on 40 count white Newcastle. You can't really see that it's white, but trust me, it's white. And I used like a yard of Silken Colors by Thread Gatherer. That was in my stash. It's a mystery color. I think these designs are perfect to use up, you know, some mystery threads, some leftover threads. And of course there's the challenge of sort of guessing whether you have enough thread left. What I suggest you do if you are not sure about that is that you leave motifs out, you know, for example, like the boat here, and here the little beach house, or the lighthouse, the whale. And then if you do not have enough, you can go back and fill in some motifs in either a contrasting color, or you could choose like a light and dark color, or you could even opt to stitch the motifs with your main color and then do all the little doodads with an alternative color. What you do not want to do is that you start at the bottom, you work your way up, and then by the time you're here, you run out of threads. That's the one thing you don't want to have happening. So something to, you know, keep in mind. This one, like I said, I think I used a full yard of 12 ply silk to get this stitched. It takes a bit more thread than you might think, but I really like it, and I stitched it on the same, you've seen this one before. This was Springing Around. It's on the same piece of fabric, and I think now that I've got these two done, we will finish them in wooden hoops and just, you know, have our little display of all the different in-arounds finished in hoops and put them up in the shop. So that was finish number 3. Finish number 4, I was really on a circle gig. I just really love this. This one came out, I think it was Nashville. It's by Heart in Hand Needle Arts. It's round alphabet, I think. I'm sorry, I don't remember. But again, it's a circle, and this time Cecilia scattered around the letters in different alphabet, different sizes, even the H's on its side. She got some fun little motifs in between, and I think I stitched this in like 2 days, which for me is really, really fast. But I was so stoked about getting this done. It is again on the Café au Lait Newcastle linen by Zweigart. This is by far my favorite color of linen. I think it is very, very versatile. You've seen me stitch Louisa Koenig on it, which is like a classical red sampler. I stitched Halloween on the Farm on it, which is, it's samplery like, but it's not a sampler, of course, and it, you know, it's supposed to have a bit of Halloween in it. It's perfect for that as well. I've done the Coffee Bird on it, and now this one. And like I said, I truly, truly love how this turned out as well. I haven't decided yet what to do about this one, but we'll see. It might end up in a little hoop as well, or maybe I'll put it on top of a little box. So we'll see about that. Then my final finish, and I'm very excited about this, is Caroline Behringer by Summerhouse Stitchworks. This was my stitch along with my Australian friend. We Skype each other almost every Sunday and stitch for like an hour, hour and a half. And last year we did Hannah Jenkinson by Stacey Nash. And this year we decided on Caroline Behringer by Summerhouse Stitchworks. She uses a lot of different colors, and I have to admit, starting and ending the threads every now and then was a bit of a pain, but in the end, it's so worth it. I really love how it's turned out. It's very, very colorful. It is stitched on, I'm trying to see if I can get a good color of the fabric. It's stitched on Avorio Italian linen by Graziano. This linen is not 100% squarely woven, but in this case, it doesn't matter. you know, it's a very slight difference. I think the only time you would see it is if you would stitch a geometrical design on it. I changed the pink. Let's see, the pink, it's over here. I changed the pink. It's Strawberry Fields by Weeks. And I changed the orange to Colonial Copper by Classic Colorworks. It was simply because at the time I didn't have the colors, neither in my personal stash nor in the shop, that were called for. All the other colors are gentle art colors, and as you know, it's quite a challenge to get the gentle art colors in. So I adjusted where I thought I could do it, and I'm very pleased with how this turned out. She will be framed again with that walnut frame that you saw on Louisa Koenig. I think it's one of those fun samplers to stitch. Like I said, it takes a bit of time starting and ending the threads, but the colorful, you know, cheerfulness of this sampler, I think, is so lovely. So I'm very, very happy that I got this one done and that I can get it framed and on my wall. So that was number 5. I'm really stoked. I don't think I've ever had like 5 finishes. And for me, these, you know, like Halloween on the Farm and Caroline Berenger, for me, those are, I know a lot of people would think those are small samplers. And I think as far as samplers go, they're pretty small. But for me, they're like, you know, that's about the size that I'm comfortable with. I like stitching small things because, like I said, I don't have a lot of time to stitch. And then a large project seems to take forever and ever. And I do want to have a finish at some point. So anyways, I'm very happy with those. We'll see how we get them finished. And, you know, either the next time or the next video or after that, I'll show you what we came up with. Then onto my WIPs, I did put in some time on, let me check, my Prairie Schooler. When Witches Go Riding. This is When Witches Go Riding by the Prairie Schooler. It is the new version of her chart. So it's not the nice thick cardstock one, but it's the thinner one that Hoffman Distributor puts out. And I know a lot of you are not too happy about the change in paper. But on the bright side, at least now we have access to these older designs that were out of print and that were, you know, going for outrageous prices on like eBay, and everybody can stitch them now. I still think that the Prairie Schooler is, I would say she's one of the best designers maybe. She has a way of creating samplers, motifs in such a unique way that when you see something that's designed by her, you can almost immediately recognize it. And I really think she's done an outstanding job over the years that she's been designing. The good news is that she did a new chart that has, I think it's like 8 little Santas. And we're hoping to get that in with our next order. So if it is in, I'll show you on my next video, because I'm so excited about that. And to be honest, I cannot wait to start at least 1 or 2 of them. I think, you know, her Santas are what makes my heart happy. She, like I said, she has a way of designing. I think I told you in one of my videos that over here, just this little shoe, you know, if you just see it, you know it's a witch's shoe. And, you know, it's just one color. It's a couple of stitches, but it's perfect. So anyways, I got working on this. Here we go. I finished here the background. I finished the gates here. I finished the house. I did this tree. I think I filled in these 3 pumpkins. And now I'm working, you can see me, I started here working on this tree. And then once I got that done, so you can see once I got this done, then I can start with the letters, which I think will go a bit faster. I'm pretty sure everybody who stitches prairie schoolers knows that it takes way more time than you think it does. I remember thinking that, you know, like a little motif like this, I could do it in a couple of days. Well, mostly for me, a couple evenings. It might take me up to 5 or 6 hours of solid stitching because it's a lot of stitching. This part is fully coverage. This is full coverage. This is full coverage. This is full coverage. And I know those of you that stitch hates are laughing and are like, that's nothing. That's just, you know, like a couple hundred of stitches. But for me, it's quite a bit. And I'm just really looking forward. I don't know if I'll manage to get it done before Halloween this year, but it will keep in my rotation. And I'm truly happy about stitching this. Her designs are so soothing, I think. It's, you know, there's enough detail that it's interesting. There's not too many colors. And I'm stitching this on 40 count lamb's wool linen by Permin, which is the really stiff linen. The reason I'm using it, this is the old lamb's wool linen. We don't have it in 32 count and 36 count anymore because they changed the dye, and it is almost identical to platinum linen by Zweigart, and it doesn't make sense to have two different types of linen that are the same color. We do want to have a huge color range, not so much the same color from different suppliers. And since not everybody enjoys stitching on the stiffer linen, I opted to do to have the platinum linen in the shop from Zweigart. However, this is still the old, I'll see if you can see it better this way. This is still the old version, and you can see, well, let's find something else to put behind it. The linen is not 100% solid in color. It's got little flecks and dots of a different, well, this would help, right? Of a different shade, which makes it really interesting. And as you might know, Prairie Schooler stitched, I think, almost all of her models on lamb's wool, on like 32 count lamb's wool linen. Let's see, this one was done, I'm pretty sure this one was done on lamb's wool. Yeah, 32 count lamb's wool linen. She did most, if not all, of her designs on the lamb's wool linen. I know that she stitched the yearly Santas on the Vosa, but all of her other designs were on the lamb's wool linen. And it's really unfortunate that Permin changed their dyeing procedure and that the linen is, yeah, it's just different. It's not as cute as it used to be. So the challenge for me is that if I run out of my 40 count, I'm not really sure what kind of fabric I'm going to use for, you know, like other Prairie Schoolers. So I'll have to see. I know that the Café au lait would probably work well, but it doesn't have that rustic look that the lamb's wool linen has. So I don't know, I might look into flex linen number 52, since that also has a bit of a, you know, like little sparks of different color. It's not like a fully solid color the way, you know, ivory or platinum is. I might look into platinum as well. The one thing I need to look into is that you have to make sure that if she uses white in the design, that it stands out enough. And on 40 count, it might be less of a problem since the thread will cover the fabric better than on 36. But on 36 count, it might be a bit of a toss-up whether you want to do 1 or 2 strands. And to be honest, I'm not really looking forward to stitch with 2 strands on 36 count. I think with Prairie Schooler, it would get really bulky. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll just try see what I can find in a 40 count and then work backwards to 36, see if we have something that would work there as well. So that was when witches go riding. Then I worked on needle stands. This is another one of those charts that I thought I could get this done in June. Well, you'll see. I made some good progress, but I'm still not there. So I finished up this side all the way down to the reindeer at the bottom. I finished the motif in the middle. I finished this border here at the top. I added the birds. And now there's still a gazillion things that I still need to add to it. It'll get back into rotation. I worked on this for quite a while in June. Then I realized I wouldn't get it done. I got started on Halloween on the Farm, got completely distracted by stitching on Halloween on the Farm. Moved on to my Prairie Scholar Santa after that, stitched Summer in the Round, stitched Alphabet, Round Alphabet, Red Alphabet, and this hasn't been back in my rotation. So I'm taking it out for August, and I will talk to you about my plans for August. But I'll stitch on it at least for 2 or 3 days, and you know, if it gets finished in September, that's fine as well. I mean, I'm now at a point where I think if I put in some serious, you know, focus on this, it shouldn't take too long. The thing is, I need to add all these little, you know, like here, I need to add the lighter color here. I need to add the lighter color here. I still need to stitch this. I need to stitch these. These are just a lot of motifs that have 2 or 3 colors, and they take a while. At least they take me a while to stitch, so we'll see. But it's back in rotation, and I'm thinking that I can say it's gonna be finished this year, and whether that is August, September, or October, we'll see. But then it's done, and I already know I want to have a white frame around it, like a wood kind of wood frame. I'm not sure I want to have it as white as this one. So, you know, once it's done, it's not that hard to get it finished. And then finally, I spent quite a bit of time working on my American homes. Now, I started this year, I think I was either working on this house or I had just finished this block. And when I picked it up, what I wanted to do was do half a block each month. I think this one was pretty much done, and then this was in, because I think on my last video I had finished this and I had already started working on the house. So I'm kind of on schedule. If I finish this block in August, that will be, you know, like it's a halfway point, and this was a massive amount of stitching. These blocks take 4,800 stitches. I did the math. So since those are fully covered, it takes a while. This house will be a bit easier to stitch as it doesn't have the brick structure, but this house and this house, that'll take quite a while to get done. So we'll see. I'm going to work on it. I'm working really hard on this block at the moment, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out. That's better. So this is how far I am. I'm filled in the flowers here on the side. I want to finish the bird and then finish the roof because it's easier to do this than leave the stitches. You can see I already left one stitch here for his tail, but I want to finish this first and then add the red. Then there's like a garland of flowers on top and American homes, and I need to fill in this part and this part till about here with a solid background color, but that's not too bad. I mean, I'm kind of waiting for a football season or soccer season to start so that I can do that while watching some soccer games. This I want to work on this week a bit more. It's a really pretty piece. For me, this is a humongous project. There we go. So I'm very stoked about the progress. Here it is again, so you can see. So this is the garland of flowers that I still need to do. American Homes, well, that's not too hard to do. I had to finish this, fill in the background. So getting this done in August shouldn't be too much of a problem. And then I'm hoping, I'll be away for a week in September, and I'm kind of hoping that I can work on this house then. It's really funny because the colors, I'm stitching it on Ivory Linen 36 count by Zweigart Edinburgh. It's color 101 for those of us here in the Netherlands. It's like a very more kind and neutral color, which is lovely to work on. I did pick 36 count because I wanted to have something that was a little easier on the eyes. And I love how the coverage is with the silk. It's stitched with Swaddles Yay silk. And it uses like 11 or 12 colors, I think. I don't have the graph here, so I can't check it. But it's not that many colors. And the fun part is the designers chose colors that I would normally not choose, but it all works together. I mean, even the orange house, you know, I would never have thought of adding that orange color. You can probably see it best on this side of the, here. But it looks beautiful. And it adds character to the house. And in case you're thinking that the roof here is missing, it's not. As you can see, if I'm holding it close up. There you go. I haven't debated whether I'll do a back stitch around this house. I haven't decided. I will stitch the whole thing. There is part, now the other houses don't have it. It would be the only house that would have back stitching around it. So I don't know. I think I'll just finish the whole thing and then I'll look, and then I can always do like a little line and see if I like it the way it looks. And if I don't like it, I can always take it out without damaging any of the stitching. So that was all my progress for the last 6 or 7 weeks, I think. It's been interesting weeks. I have compiled I made little shots of when I do my Saturday morning walk, and, you know, took some shots of the neighborhood, took some shots of my garden. I will put those at the end in case you're not interested in it. I just thought it would be fun to show you my surroundings here in the northern part of the Netherlands. And I did get a bit of summer flu mid-July. Yeah, mid-July. I tested 3 times for COVID. It was not COVID, so I'm just calling it a summer flu. And I think it was because I didn't have the real traditional COVID symptoms. You know, I didn't have a runny nose, didn't run a fever, didn't really have a sore throat. I just felt miserable, flu-like miserable. I stayed in bed for 2 days, most of 2 days, and then got, you know, it was pretty fine after that. So I'm very grateful for that. What else happened? I had a week off in July, the very first week of July, and I went to see the Floriade here in the Netherlands. It's in Almere. It's like this huge garden show, and went with a friend, had a wonderful time. I'll see if I can insert a few photos also at the end so that you know, if you don't like it, you can just leave it. If you haven't been, I can totally recommend it. We had a great day. I have to say, we had the perfect weather. We had, like, it was sunny. It was warm enough that we didn't have to wear a jacket. It was not that warm that you would get uncomfortable. It was busy enough that you felt like you were, you know, attending an event, but it was not that busy that if you wanted to sit down for a cup of coffee or a bite to eat, that you had to wait in line or that you couldn't find a table. It was really the perfect day. We had so much fun. Did quite a bit of walking and enjoyed all the flowers. Especially we sat in the rose garden for quite a while, and I've never seen that many different types of roses. Some I didn't even know existed. It was just beautiful. It was really a lovely day. So now I'm back. I'm back at work. I'm back at the shop. It's just life is, just general life. My work for the university is usually a bit quieter in summertime, which is nice. But still, I have 3 more weeks left before my summer vacation starts, and I still have quite a few, but there are a few things that I want to finish up before I take my leave. And then in 2 weeks' time, I'll celebrate my birthday, and this is the new project that I wanted to talk about. You can probably see I'm getting all excited about it. I've debated whether I was losing my mind or if this was just, a good idea to do it. So I've been watching and following Jen Lee from Quirks and Stitches on Instagram. And I don't know if you follow her, if you've heard about her project for 2022, but Jen Lee for me is like the empress of starting new projects. And she got it in her head this year to start 222 projects. I cannot even begin to imagine what that would look like. Her mom made her 222 project bags. I'm like, that must have been so much fun. She would check out the project and then she would find fabric that matches the project. So if it was a cat project, it would have cat fabric. If it was a coffee project, it would have coffee beans. It's just amazing. And during her last Flosstube video, Jen shares all the starts she did since March up till July. And if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. It's fabulous. You'll laugh because the two of them are hilarious. And I don't know about you, but I'm in awe of all these projects that she starts. And it's not like small things. She will start big ones as well. She gets an amazing amount of stitching done in a week's time. She has a job. I mean, it's not like she can stitch all day, but, she must surely stitch fast. And the video is like 3.5 hours long. So you can cut it up in segments, do like March, April, May, etc. But it's so worth watching. I will link it in the description box below. Please, go watch it and have fun. But anyways, she has this whole Excel sheet of, I'm just giving an example. On the 5th of the month, she will start an animal project. On the 7th of the month, she will start a geometrical project. She's got like all this reasoning behind it. And I think it's hilarious. Not hilarious like I'm making fun of her, but the meticulous way in which she prepared for this and how her mind works. She'll explain it in the video, so she can do that much better than I do. But it's so interesting and it got me inspired. So like I said, I'm either going to go crazy over the next year or it's going to be a really fun project. As it turns out, I will be 53 this year. So on Sunday, August 14th, it's my birthday. And I did the math, and up to August 13th next year, there are 53 Sundays. So I figured this is the only year in my life that I can start a new project every week for every year that I've been on this earth. Which I thought would be a lot of fun. So I'm going to start 53 new projects. Now, you know me, I stitch small stuff, not big stuff. So I went through my stash, went through the shop, looked at projects, and I think I've settled down on like 45 or something like that. It's still subject to change because, you know, I don't know new designs that will come out. I might prefer to stitch something else, but I've made sort of I took Jen's advice and made myself an Excel sheet. I got all the Sundays listed. I got the number of the project listed. I got a sort of schedule of when I'm going to start what project. And I listed all the threads that are used for the project, because I'm not going to kit up 53 projects right now. That would just take too much time, too much material, and you know, like I said, I might change out the projects, so I want to be able to do that. But then I also want to be able to see if, once I'm finished with a project, if one of the colors of thread is going to be used in another project, because then I can just put it in the file folder of the next project. All these projects are less than 100 by 100 stitches. And that's because I do want to have a sort of chance of finishing, you know, like at least half of them during the year. I'm not saying I won't start anything else, anything bigger, but my idea is that these projects are small enough that I can stitch them in, you know, either 2, 4, or 6 days. Some might take a little longer. We'll see. I think the main issue for me is that I don't stitch every day. There are days, especially when I've been into the office at work, when I come home and I'm just, you know, after I've done my shop work, I'm just not feeling it. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna start on my birthday. And I'm hoping that whenever I do my next Flosstube, which will be after my birthday, I can show you which project I started. And I will put together the first, you know, 4 or 5 projects that I have planned to start in August and the beginning of September. Now, at the end of August, my 4-week leave, my summer vacation starts. So I'm kind of hoping that during that time, I'll be able to get a bit more done stitching wise than during other weeks. And like I said, we'll just see how it goes. And if by October I'm completely overwhelmed by what I've done, I might step away from the project, or I might, you know, start something every other Sunday. But for now, it's been an immense joy to put it all together, to go through my stash, check out designs, look for fabrics, look for threads. Yeah, it's just been a lot of fun. So just imagine that it's going to be small stuff. I mean, it's like, you know, Summer in the Round could be on there. Well, obviously not since I stitched it, but, you know, like the In the Round series. I know that I have a few that are closer to the 90 by 90 size, and that will take, you know, if it's more coverage, then it'll take a bit longer. But there are also a couple that are really small. So we'll see how that goes. But I thought it was really fun. I mean, if it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance, I think you should just jump on the train and have fun. So we'll see how it goes. And then finally, the other thing I wanted to mention is that on the 27th of August, we're going to have a great day here in Rode. Jacob de Graaf from Modern Folk Embroidery will be over here. And he will be talking about his designs, the way he designs, and he designed a exclusive chart for us that is a reproduction sampler. It has a really nice story. I'm not showing you anything yet. We'll see how it goes. The day is already sold out. You cannot, well, I can add you to the waiting list, but we have quite a long waiting list already. So I'm not expecting that a lot of people will drop out. But I just wanted to mention it so that you know it's going on. And I'll shoot some video at the day itself. And but that will be, I don't think that'll be in the next video, but the one after that. And we're so looking forward to it. I think Jacob has a wonderful range of designs, very interesting, different designs, and it'll be a lot of fun to hear him talk about it. So that's going to happen at the end of August. Well, that's it for now. It's almost 45 minutes long. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you like the video, or like the video if you're already subscribed. I hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. I'm trying for 4 weeks because then I can show you the first 2 starts of my 53 projects. Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that. I think at the moment, the hardest thing for me is not to start one of those projects. I'm so tempted to start one of them, but okay, I'll try to be good and spend my time on American homes and get that first done, get that block done and get it out of the way. You enjoy the rest of your summer. I know that for a lot of you in a couple of weeks, school starts again. Over here, I think we just had our general summer vacation. So for us, it'll be a while, but have fun, enjoy. We have pretty nice weather over here. It's not too hot, for which I'm very grateful, but it's nice and sunny. You can sit outside a lot. Put in a lot of stitches if you have the time to do that. Take good care of yourself and your loved ones, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye, friends.